all need to do it. Unless we are working from home, we have to get from the places we live to the places we work. On average, we each spend over an hour commuting. But does it really matter how we travel to get to work? Especially in relation to the climate crisis, is it actually something each of us should optimize? And what is the best form of transportation to take? This is a series where we learn about the climate crisis, dig into the science behind it, and learn ways that each of us can accelerate action, specifically in connection to our jobs. Because even though the problem is massive, we as individuals can actually help us change course. I'm Erin with the Hive Initiative, and this is Climate Workspace. It seems we're all getting back to work after a long stretch of home office with the coronavirus, and we've learned a lot about how we can actually get a lot of work done at home. But it does seem that the office is ideal for collaborating and getting things done in the same physical space, so I don't think that will be going away anytime soon. But can we continue as we have been, with the majority of us driving a gas-powered car to work? But we've looked into the topic to see how our travels have been affecting the planet and what our best options are for a sustainable commute. Here's what we found. First, let's take a look at the climate impact that our travels have. Why is transportation a problem? Commuting by gas-powered vehicle is causing climate change. When we use gas-powered vehicles, we release carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide from our tailpipes. We also release hydrofluorocarbons when we have leaking vehicle air conditioners. All of these are greenhouse gases, which linger in our atmosphere and trap the sun's heat. And they can do this for a very long time. Carbon dioxide comprises the bulk of the emissions released. Each molecule lives between 300 and 1,000 years. This means that the CO2 emissions released by the first cars are still up in our atmosphere, warming our planet now, and will continue to for hundreds of years. But how much greenhouse gas do we really release from our trips? Road transport contributes to roughly 12% of all emissions. In Europe, cars, motorcycles, and light-duty trucks make up nearly 45% of these emissions. In the US, it's over half. So there is significant global impact from us getting ourselves around. And according to the European Parliament, domestic transport is the only sector where greenhouse gas emissions have not decreased. The trend is similar in the US. In fact, globally, greenhouse gas emissions have continued to rise. Scientists have modeled that in order for us to stay under 1.5 and 2 degrees of warming and avoid the severe changes that will affect all of us, we must drastically reduce all emissions now and in every sector. We are likely at 1.2 degrees of warming today. Once we hit 1.5 degrees of climate change, it will be very difficult to reverse the trend, and we will experience compounding adverse effects. At our rate of release today, we are expected to reach 1.5 degrees in the next 8 to 10 years. So it really does matter how we get around and how we get to work. The fossil fuel-powered trip we take today will affect the rest of all of our lives, and the lives of those who haven't been born yet, for generations to come. So what are the alternatives? What should each of us be doing to lessen our impact of commuting? There are options out there, from switching to an electric car, to taking public transportation, to scootering and cycling. First, let's take a look at electric cars. Could simply switching from gas-powered to electric be the answer? If everyone switched from a gas-powered car to an electric one, it would make a difference, especially for our commutes. Over 70% of people commute by driving to work in Europe. In the US, it's nearly 86%. And while they are becoming more popular, electric cars make up less than 1% of the vehicles on the road, and it is projected that only half would be electric by 2050. But while electric vehicles do not produce emissions in operation, the mining of the resources needed to create them and the production of their large lithium-ion batteries do. This is mostly due to the energy sources powering the mines and factories. The emissions from the production of each vehicle equates to 1 to 2 years of gas-powered driving. Then there are the emissions from the electricity needed to charge the batteries. In the US, 61% of all energy generated is from fossil fuels. In Europe, it's 69%. Charging electric vehicles can double a household's electricity use. We should not discourage someone from switching from a gas-powered vehicle to an electric one. However, we can do better. In research done by Seth Wines and Kimberly Nicholas at Lund University in Sweden, it shows that the second highest impact action we can do as individuals is live car-free. And a 2019 report published by the European Environmental Agency states that walking, cycling, and public transport remain the best way to improve sustainable mobility in cities. This is because public transport requires less space and resources per traveler than cars. Public transport should form the backbone to our societal transport. It is essential that our governments work actively to make it as convenient, enjoyable, and safe as possible. And while public transport is crucial, walking and cycling are seen as providing the greatest benefits. This is because they require more movement, which helps people maintain a better base level of fitness while at the same time getting them where they need to go. They also help take pressure off of public transport, making systems more sustainable. The emergence of electric bicycles are seen as a solid contender as a car replacement, as they are inexpensive to charge and allow riders to go further distances. They are also a good complement to train travel. But what can be done to get more people to give up their cars for bicycles? From the government level, cycling infrastructure needs to be built everywhere. There needs to be protected cycling paths, especially on roads with fast-moving vehicles. We should learn from countries like the Netherlands, who have made huge strides in adapting most of their roads to be safe and comfortable for cyclists. Until proper cycling infrastructure is built, countries should also consider adapting their rules to give priority to cyclists which share the road with cars. This will both make it safer for cyclists to use the streets and encourage motorists to themselves become cyclists. Finally, governments should subsidize both public transportation and bicycle purchases so that they are affordable to more people. Companies can also do their part by installing better, secure bike parking at their offices, converting car parking spaces to bicycle parking, and offer perks such as subsidized public transport and bike maintenance. And then there's us. Even though we've been used to a world of unrestricted fossil fuel travel, the time has come where we have to change and help our friends and colleagues do the same. Even if our governments are slow to create climate-friendly infrastructure and provide incentives, we can still act. We can choose to commute emission-free. In the process, we might just find that we're healthier, happier, and having more fun. Thanks for joining us today.